Denodo Data Bites. Hello everyone and welcome back to the third episode of Leadership Lens, part of the Denodo Data Bites podcast series. I'm your host Neha and today we're thrilled to have Richard Walker, Denodo's Senior Vice President and Chief Customer Officer with us today. With over 20 years of experience in executive sales, deployment and partner management, Richard has been dedicated to ensuring our customer success. Richard, it's a pleasure to have you on the show. Before we dive into today's topic on customer experience and creating a customer journey roadmap, could you share a brief overview of your background and your role at Denodo?
Yes. Thank you, Nia. So I've been with the company for about 18 years. I've been in the role of managing sales worldwide. And as I was realizing the need for greater post-sales support, and complaining about that, the next thing I know, I was running it. So be careful what you wish for or complain about. But anyway, I look forward to that opportunity to really drive value for our customers and our business. But I've been in sales, most of my life. I started out as an engineer. And so I'm very used to solving very sophisticated technical problems and from a sales perspective, driving value. So it's a very comfortable role for me.
Wonderful. That's great to know. Thanks, Rich. So let's dive into our topic of conversation then today. So to begin with, can you explain the concept of customer journey, customer experience, and the importance of a customer journey roadmap and why it is crucial for businesses to develop one?
Yeah, no, it is critical because if you think about a customer, when they're trying to solve a problem, the problems that we solve today are not done in 30 days. They sometimes will take years to solve, right? Because they're enterprise scale. So you literally have to have a journey, all right, to get to that overall solution because it's an enterprise, typically mission critical, involving thousands of people involved in that. And so you literally have to have a plan of how you're going to do that from that perspective. And that's why it's critical. So you're aligning your business outcome, and then you're aligning the steps to achieve that outcome with very specific tasks, sets of deliverables, and milestones.
Thank you for answering that. So how can then businesses use customer journey mapping to enhance overall customer experience? Would you be able to provide an example of an organization that has successfully been doing this?
Yeah, sure. So if you think about how you start, we basically start from the bottom up. And what that means is once we understand the business outcome, we then will break this down into 3 phases. Foundational, all right, where you're literally getting everything sort of implemented and within the IT ecosystem, all right, with the data sources, the governance systems, the applications, and the things that are, going to consume the information. Then you start building out the next phase, which is the use case. And you typically will have more than one use case in an overall business solution. And finally, you get to a phase where you're enterprise-wide. And so essentially, when you're doing the foundation, this will take weeks. Implementing the use case will take months. Doing enterprise-wide will take years. So it is a journey. And it's important to understand that you plan for this and you have an alignment with the organization to achieve that.
That's interesting to know. Do you have any examples of a successful, customer journey mapping?
Yeah, we have many of those. I'll give a couple today. Let me just give the first one. One is Intel, one of our largest and oldest customers. How they start with the journey was they knew that this technology could have a significant impact on their business, meaning that they needed data to help them get their products to market. In the high-tech world, time to market is everything. They would lose $1 billion for every month a product was delayed. So it was critical that they accelerate their time to market. What they did was that they acknowledged that the problem at the business level is all the different reports. People were using different logic on the exact same data and coming up with different answers. And they spent more time arguing over whose logic was right than getting the product to market. And so they realized by centralizing their information, all right, the logic, the semantics, that they would then be able to accelerate the data delivery in a more consistent manner, which they accelerated by 90%. So the journey they started out with was, they says, okay, first we had to basically run a number of tests, validate it, and then they got it approved as a technical component in their enterprise stack. This was the very first thing. So they went from a business outcome, and then the next step was to make sure that architecturally this type of technology was solidified in their technical stack. Then the next step in that journey was to start implementing it inside the company, all right, at a what they call a center of excellence, all right, where they were going to build out core views that would be used across the view, a single view of a customer, single view of a product, and so on. And then these would be used by the business units. The next phase was in that journey is now the business units would build their particular views, the finance department, the sales, on top of those corporate-wide views. So this is the next phase in that journey for users. The last phase in that journey, all right, was the end users. Now the end users can now log in and discover data that's been built on the logic and infrastructure built by the Center of Excellence, built by the business units, and so they can easily now build their own views, and all the appropriate governance and security was being applied. And so they've now grown from, say, a few users to now they have 100,000 users doing millions of queries per day, right, across hundreds of data sources, all right, and this is their core data platform for the entire organization. So it involves IT, it involves governance and security, and it involves the business. So both a journey with regards to tasks and a journey with regards to the different groups. And you map that and you basically create customer success plans for each step in that journey. And that was very successful. So they now have over 1,000 developers in their business units building views on a regular basis to be consumed by the business across their 26 different business units.
So you've already kind of touched upon some of the, key elements, but I wanted to understand, are there any other key elements that you would like to mention which should be included in a customer journey roadmap? And how can businesses ensure they're addressing all critical touchpoints?
Yeah, I would say when we start out with a customer, we have a 4-step set of elements or tasks within a journey, or objectives is probably the key word that we're using. One is we want to document and understand their business outcome. What is their success criteria? What is their baseline with what they're trying to fix or change? Second, we then put together a customer success plan, understanding the milestones, the tasks, and the use cases, and we build out that success plan. From that customer success plan, okay, we then deliver that, and we break that down into various roles. So for the architect, for the developer, for the operations, for the governance and security, for the business users, those are deliverables. That's a second task. And we go live. The third task is to measure the value, the results achieved. And so we help them set up a set of dashboards, because bottom line is they invested for a reason. And so you want to record, all right, the value. And literally you're implementing that. And the fourth final step is you close the loop and you go back to the executive in a strategic review and you communicate the results achieved, say mission accomplished. All right. And this is the basically the core concept that we, implement and deliver today with our customer success plan.
So right from business outcome to you go into the planning stages of customer success planning, and then that success is measured in terms of its value delivered, and then we basically close the loop to measure the success, get any feedback from the executors. Did I get that right? Yeah,
basically correct. They know what they want to achieve. At the end, did we achieve it? And you want to do it more than just a measurement point in time. You want to put in a framework that measures it continually over time. Because remember, this is a journey. So you're not done just when they go live and you measure those results. It's you're putting in a framework that continually shows that they're getting value the more that they adopt the platform.
Makes total sense. Thanks, Rish. So what are some common challenges businesses face when creating and implementing a customer journey roadmap, and how can they overcome these obstacles?
So I think it comes into 3 different areas. One is assigning the right resources up front. What I mean by that is there has to be an executive sponsor who really has ownership from a budget perspective or resource perspective of what they're trying to achieve. Second, there has to be an architect owner who literally is responsible for making sure how does this fit into the overall IT ecosystem, right? Because as middleware, it connects to many different systems. And so that architect's critical because we need approvals. We need to basically integrate with all these other systems, involves other departments. So that architect needs to drive that. And the third person is the Denodo manager. They own the resources, the developers, the admins, the end users. And that is step number one, is getting those right resources assigned, those three decision makers. The next step is truly understanding, all right, the IT ecosystem of what we need to install. A lot of times people underestimate the time it might get to approval to basically get access to a production system. I know, for example, at Roche Systems, we needed access to their SAP system. It took us 9 months to get through approvals. They wanted to have their use case go live in 30 days. So making sure that the customer appreciates and understands that, hey, there's long lead items here that they need. If they want to integrate these systems, they need to basically start very early, all right, from that perspective. And the third thing is really what we call change management. You're changing the way users are going to get access to data, the way things are going to be done. And so really planning and educating the teams on a continuous basis and helping them through that change is the last critical step. So decision makers, making sure that you're aligned with the IT ecosystem, and third, change management at the business user level.
That summarizes it very well. Thanks, Mr. So I know we discussed a little bit about Intel earlier, but can you share a case study where a company transformed its customer experience by effectively using a customer journey roadmap? And are there any key takeaways and results that you would like to highlight?
Yeah, let me highlight Flex. They're a designer and manufacturer of contract manufacturer of medical, logistical, electronic solutions for other companies. So they don't have any of their own products. So they manufacture all of Cisco's products. And they have essentially 1,000 customers, 300 facilities worldwide, right across 30 countries with 16,000 suppliers, close to 200,000 employees. All right. So the logistics of getting the bill of materials of what they're supposed to build for somebody, get those resources, distribute that out to their factories, get that built, and then ship to the customer within that time frame. And, oh, by the way, the customer changed the bill of material. And now that's got to propagate all the way down to the factory floor, all right, before they start building and wasting material, right? Or a supplier all of a sudden has a problem. And so the complexity of their supply chain, working with their customers, all right, was overwhelming. And so what they were looking to do was basically create what they called digital supply chain, a real-time visualization of alerting and self-service, so that as something happened, it was visible instantly across the entire supply chain, all right? And then people could drill down from a self-service and find out exactly what they need so they could take action. And so they started on a 2-year journey with us, okay? And our first step was to do an architecture assessment. Then we got into doing design. Then we implemented development best practices. Then we started setting up the modeling, the metadata organization, and we went live in 6 months, enterprise-wide. This is essentially unheard of in the industry, where we can take an enterprise-type deployment and within 6 months go live. Since then, we basically implemented all of their reports. 9,000 reports are now accessed through our system, all right, increasing usage, 10-fold, 100-fold. We built out executive dashboards. We've now expanded. And so after a period of 2 years, they basically are mission critical worldwide. All right.
That's very impressive, in terms of onboarding the tool in 6 months. That's really interesting to know. So this, in fact, it's been very enlightening to understand the customer experience journey and how organizations can, plan this journey and plan this roadmap. So thank you for sharing these insights, Rich. This was really interesting. As we near the end of our session, I have a short Q&A round in store for you. Are you ready? So what's the most surprising thing you've learned about customer success since taking on your role as Chief Customer Officer?
I think what impressed me the most, was how I didn't appreciate the dedication, the skills, just the enthusiasm of the customer success team that I came in, to manage. All right. I didn't appreciate them as much. They work incredibly hard. They make our product sing at our customers. And I don't think we give them enough credit. They are our unsung heroes. You can build a product, but trying to get it working and implementing into the complexities of large enterprise corporations today is an unheralded job. And that was something that, today, the work that the team does behind the scenes to get our customers in production is amazing. And, I just want to applaud the team of the job that they do. It's literally something that I don't think we appreciate enough.
Very well said, and definitely kudos to the team. No two customers are the same, so I can only imagine the amount of work that goes into, making sure that the customers are satisfied and our product is onboarded in the right way that it needs to be. So very well said there. And my final question for the day is, can you share a memorable story from your early days in the sales world that still kind of sticks with you till date?
Wow. I have so many. I remember one where we went and presented to Charles Schwab. All right. And the customer literally was under tremendous pressure in the business side where customers were demanding better recommendations on their stock picks, better recommendations on their investments. And the competition from algorithms and everything else was putting a lot of pressure. And so how can we get better data to the business? And essentially we laid out our architecture, our planning. I say we, there was more than just myself, right? But we're presenting this to management. And they goes, you can do this? I go, yeah. And I pointed to a number of customer examples like this. And he says, okay, well, buy it. No proof of concept, no evaluation, right? They literally invested because they believed that we could literally solve their problem. And we had enough value, enough case studies. And so my point there was, my most memorable thing is that if I'm really well aligned with their business problem, and I give them a compelling solution with evidence, both from analysts and from other customer stories, all right, customers will react quickly to a solution, right? And then, in fact, we took the hours that we allotted, all right, for the proof of concept, and we applied that for implementing it. So we gave them free hours for implementing the software because he says, I have those hours available, let's implement it. They're now one of our largest customers today, still.
So this was a great session, Rich. Thanks again for joining us and for talking to us about elevating customer experience and building a roadmap for success.
Thank you very much for the opportunity.
And a quick message to our listeners. If you enjoyed this episode, please head over to denodo.com/podcast to find out more resources on all things data.